Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. So we ended up with too many hours. We have too much stuff in the hold. We could unload a barrel of hours with Mr. Penny's for like 6 sovereigns, but I think it actually makes more sense here to just jettison the sack of seeds. The price difference between the seeds and the hours is greater than the amount of money that we would get from giving the extra barrel of hours to Mr. Penny's, so I think we could just bail out of here. It's possible that we should get rid of even more barrels of hours and buy some fuel or supplies, I guess. Does Lestro, or Carillon, does Carillon sell... They sell supplies. Thinking, like, we have a pretty long route back home. How many barrels of fuel do I have? Right, there we go. 3. You know what? I think we'll be okay. I don't know that I would like another box of supplies, but we can just buy that at Carillon. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jettison the seeds and get the hell out of here. We have places to be. Yes. Jettison. Okay. I think that's the right move, financially speaking. It's possible that the very, very small amount that we got paid by Mr. Penny's was a little bit of an anomaly. Maybe it's usually higher than that, but we don't know. I guess maybe because we don't know, it would have been worthwhile to test. In fact, now I'm definitely feeling like that maybe would have been the right move. Just accept the small loss in exchange for some information. Ah, well. Ooh. The opportunity to gain another barrel. We probably don't need 2 crates of supplies to make it to Carillon, and then we can just buy more supplies there, but then we're talking about jettisoning 40 sovereigns worth of supplies to pick up 55 sovereigns worth of hours. I think 55, is that what they sell for? I don't remember. Whatever, let's not mess with it. We'll just leave it here for some other lucky person. And I'm going to turn off the light. Now you can see it started to become aware of us, but didn't become all the way aware of us. So I guess that works a little bit like a stealth indicator in other video games, where it has to fill all the way with red before the thing will attack us. That's the first time we've ever actually seen that operate in a way where I was able to draw that conclusion, I think. Now, apparently there's something right over there. Okay, that's just a tackety. There's a locomotive here. We could just hang out for a moment and let our supplies run out. Oh, wind. Very strong wind. Hold on. Do we want to... I'm going to force open the doors to the hold. What we find in here could be valuable enough to be worth dropping something for, or if it's not, we'll just leave it. Found ourselves a crate of vegetation. I hate screens. Your navigator sniffs, distinctly put out. Wow, 3 supplies. Holy crap. A cornucopia of vegetables, only recently abandoned. Well, that's way too much stuff, though. Guess we'll take one of them. Oh, it's very windy. Oh, it's so very windy here. Okay, I need to... We gotta get back home. We gotta sell some of these hours, man. The good news is, with our terror low, I think our crew should be reasonably competent at maintaining the barrels, so hopefully we won't see a bunch of those negative events. Oh, wait. I don't remember why, but I need to kill cantankeries. Don't remember why, but I do remember that I do. Huh. That looked like a direct hit. Maybe that one was tougher than others. Ah, yes, a stomach. Well, he believes it will aid his research. He'd better be right. This is probably going to be a very unpleasant process getting it. Its shell is too tough to crack, but it is large enough to crawl into, and that's what the unlucky winner of an impromptu lottery is obliged to do. They're given a knife and a sou'wester to cover their sky suit and crawl inside. They emerge later, dripping, cursing, and clutching the withered knot of a stomach. Gross. Yeah, you know, I think of those ones as, like, the little ones, but it is true that they're almost the size of our full locomotive. You could actually jam several people into one of those things. I'm looking at our fuel now and wondering, have I been too cavalier? I'm not going to stop. You could kill another one and then get like a few sovereigns worth of gemstones out of its hide or something, but yeah, we're just going to keep on. I'm going to ignore that locomotive there. It could be full of fuel. That's entirely possible. What is your deal? Do you want to die? Why would you follow me? Okay, so we have lots and lots of stuff going on at Carillon. A lot of crew member stories to push forward. Hold on a moment. Let's, quickly... Oh, we haven't spoken to our fortunate navigator yet, actually. He would like tea. Okay, we can do that. We can get some tea from the bank to handle that. The princess... Let's see here. The devil wants to go to Carillon. London and the Well of the Wolf. Princess wants to go to Carillon. Working on that. Okay, we do need to talk to the rats. That's right. We picked up their friend. Boy, I sure hope they don't have plot that requires us to go to Lustrum, because I definitely forgot to talk to them after we went to Magdalen's, and so we may have lost an opportunity here. Alright, do you have all the parts of the account number yet? No. Petronella explains the situation while she empties the chambers of Cinders' Derringer for polishing. So that lieutenant which shivved us in the back at a critical juncture in return for a cushy position with the Windward Company, right? Yeah, Sarge gave him a number, too. Didn't know he was a bad 'un. Anyway, the lieutenant's got a plum office at Port Prosper. We're gonna have to get in, get his number, and get out. Preferably doing him in on the way. Okay, well, we will be headed back to Port Prosper at some point. So, what exactly did happen on that last mission, anyway? He's brought wine. She's brought scotch. It would have worked, Albrecht says mournfully, but the lieutenant had taken a contract of his own, with the Windward Company. First we knew of it was when the company fired on their own engine. The governor was already well away on another locomotive. Sarge went down first. Bellowing for the rest of us to scarper, the daft bastard, Petronella adds. Next thing we know, half of us are dead, and the lieutenant's got a fancy new title with the Windward Company. Okay, the enmity makes a lot of sense now. Hey, can we talk to our mascot yet? Does he have anything to say? Nope. Okay, so we're working on everybody else's story, though? The Clay Conductor... No, we gotta talk to the Clay Conductor as well. He was very disappointed by the poor quality of the recreation at Magdalen's. We could attempt clay singing. He wishes a singing partner, and I've heard a couple of examples now, so maybe I could give it a try. It would cost us a moment of inspiration and our honey. A moment of inspiration is a high cost. Let's ask him. Maybe if we heard a couple more examples, we could get this to be a little bit less difficult to pull off. The Clay Conductor is going through his suitcase. The urn lies on the floor. We used to tour the work worlds together, he tells you. Rarely appreciated, but we got paid. He unearths a sheaf of pages. And we wrote our own music. If I could just find someone capable of the harmonies again. He begins to rifle through the sheets. His lips move with the notes, one large finger chasing the key changes across the pages. He starts as he remembers you are still in his cabin. Forgive me, Captain. His voice is a little thicker than usual. I'm afraid I'm going to take the afternoon off. Oh, he will need a little time. Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. Maybe we should actually give him a little bit of time. Since the game is tracking the passage of time, it's possible that talking to him again immediately will just annoy him. I think let's actually give him a little bit of time, at the risk of me forgetting to check back in with him. Let's actually give him a little bit of time. Our aunt wants to go to Carillon, we know that. Okay. We're doing our best. Look at that, I actually made it into the middle of the dock pretty much. And almost pointed in the right direction. An overgrown shrine. The path leads you to a broken statue, seemingly ignored by the devils of Carillon, except for whoever placed the freshly lit candles at its feet. We have seen this statue before, and it is a little terrifying. I'm worried about the burrower below and the being watched. But let us, for a moment, contemplate the statue and lower our terror, because we sure did have some terror. While the statue is the raw material of nightmares, there is something soothing about the idea that even a beast like this might be harnessed. There is the chance of such an ally, for those who crack the code of offerings and prayer. Whether it is actually listening, it is impossible to tell. The thought that it even might, however, is something to hold on to in the dark. Yeah, I don't find that particularly unterrifying, personally. So, let's see here. They have some cheap seeds we don't really have any use for. I don't think we actually need the supplies. We're definitely going to be able to buy that 6,000 sovereign locomotive when we get back to Albion. Alright, let's swing in here, write ourselves a report real quick. Turns out, very little has changed. Who would have thought? And let's attend a candlelit soiree with the inconvenient aunt. She has insisted that it will do you good. Come on, she says, a fierce gleam behind her spectacles. Alright. Your aunt, chattering constantly, guides you through the ash-gray stone chambers of Carillon. Eventually, you reach a little door in one of the less traveled backways. Your aunt knocks thrice. I'm a little worried about how much she seems to know about this place. The door swings open. A severe, scarred old woman peers out. Bunty! Your aunt cries happily. After a brief introduction, Bunty ushers you inside. You emerge into a room with a high, mirrored ceiling. Its dark-paneled walls are illuminated by dripping crimson candles. Revolutionaries consort with ministry auditors. Devils drink with bright-eyed ministers of the new sequence. A famous Tackety general is highly occupied with a distinguished admiral. What has she brought you to? Well, my aunt has disappeared into the crowd. Something tells me we're not going to find her. She doesn't want to be found. I guess let's just mingle? I'm pretty curious about what's going on here. Oh good, a tale of terror. You introduce yourself to very many personages. Some great and good, most borderline criminal. Like ourselves. Everyone seems to believe you already know the rules, so you learn a number of surprising things about the information networks of the High Wilderness. Most crucially, the extent to which their frequent contact breeds certain mutual understandings. Suddenly, you hear the familiar crunch of boiled sweets at your ear. Your aunt has returned. Her expression is aghast. Let's get out of here. I've learned something about a rendezvous at St. Dunstan's. She refuses to say more here. Okay. Do we know where St. Dunstan's is? That might not be information I have. So, for some reason, that counted as a tale of terror. Okay. Let us go and speak to the presiding deviless, because we have some people who would like to chat with her. Let's have the devils forge a ring for the princess. The devils will forge a ring for the princess to borrow. All they need is the right souls, as in those of chorister bees. Somebody pointed out in the comments that this word obviously derives from the same root as chorus and choral, and that I've been pronouncing it wrong all this time. Oops, it's chorister. The devils set to work, the uncanny distillation of the ethereal insectoid souls segging into the mysteries of constructing stained glass with pure souls. That's a very strange process that I would like to know more about, actually. The lead devil interrogates the princess as she watches, impatient. This will be a loan, princess. The ring must be returned, with interest. You understand this, yes? Yes, said the princess. I understand everything. That's part of what being a princess is about. Is it? Huh. With some trepidation, the devils pass the perfect glass circle to her. She holds it up, abruptly enchanted by the swarm of souls swirling around its interior. The more we learn about her, the more uncomfortable I am with having her around. That said, I definitely need to know where her story is going. And also, let us introduce our devil to our other devil. We make a lot of not great friends, it seems like. We will use the full and florid title that appears on his visiting card. When the deviless is not visibly impressed, the devil says, "I brought a small gift, a trifle you might find of value." He produces from his satchel a 3-volume set bound in fire, his own work. "Some methods for flavoring a soul to the tastes of a particular judgment," she reads. She tosses the set on her desk. It huffs smoke. "We are just a touch more modern now. It's a fine antiquarian piece," she adds unforgivably. "But we find those approaches rather cumbersome. Besides, we find we need to appeal to the original owners of the souls, offer them an experience worth paying for." Well, at the risk of making things a lot worse for a lot of other people, I am so very curious where this is going. So no doubt he could show the presiding deviless some interesting tricks, but it is not so clear that we would still be welcome afterwards, or... Yeah, what counsel do we offer him? Here's the thing. I am way out of my depth here, right? Like, these two both know a hell of a lot more about exactly what they're talking about than I do. So I feel like I am ill-suited to give advice. Alright, if he's actually right, I bet she would be grateful. Not in a way that she's going to show us. Probably she will seem mad no matter how this goes. But I doubt we're going to get exiled. In its various gardens, Carolyn punishes souls into greater refinement. Perhaps he would like to visit one and demonstrate how it can be improved. He adjusts this mirror to reflect futures. Adjusts that blade to cut off the sense of smell. He leaves the penitents howling. Before you go, one of the penitents approaches with a note. Someone was here, looking for the devil. The note just didn't make its way through official channels. Okay, that's very interesting. He's become more ambitious. Boy, I don't know if that was a good thing we just did. And I think that is the end of our business here, right? We could talk to her about Carolyn. We could provide some exquisite insight if we acquired enough of all of the penances. And it seems like we just need one of each. That is an interesting idea. I don't know that I want to mess with it right now, especially since our stats aren't really all that high aside from mirrors. But maybe this is a thing worth coming back for. I think for now we'll just leave her to her business. We have places to be. We got our port report. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't think we need to buy anything else. I think if we just head back to London now, or New Winchester rather, we should make it. Did we need to go to Palmier and Plenty's? I don't think so, right? This is a big task. A lot of fancy stuff going on here. Yeah, I don't think we have any business at Palmier and Plenty's right now. We could go get a port report, but I'm not certain that we have the food and supplies. Do they sell, or the fuel and supplies, rather? They sell supplies, but not fuel there. You know what? Let's just head straight back to New Winchester. We'll sell off some of our bounty. We'll, Nope, that's not going to hit. I'm distracted by the opportunity to kill something. You know, maybe the devil's not the worst member of the the crew of this train. Well, I'm not trying to hunt it, but it is staying right in front of us an awful lot. Now I'm wavering. Yeah, let's go to Palmier and Plenty's. You know what? I think we have the fuel. I think we have the fuel to make it there, and then down through the place where we turn in the port reports. Also, who knows? We might find fuel here. But we found munitions, which are actually very useful. Ugh. What a bad shot. Well, that's bad. Ow. Okay. Let's just repair our hull a little bit. So I probably could have a well-aimed shot penetrates your plating. We're fine. Everything's fine. Wait, what is... Why are these glowing red? Is there something wrong with the... No, I think they're just glowing red because we're spending them. Were they glowing red before? Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're really draining any faster than usual. Does that sound a little bit more ominous than usual? Not the gunfire, I just mean the sort of the weird ambient background noise. I do not find the gunfire particularly ominous. We don't have enough fuel to go hunting for whatever's fighting. Let's just do this and head back. Alright, it is nice to go to a place where everybody's pretty friendly. Homestead and Plenty's Inconceivable Circus is pulling in crowds. Passenger locomotive shuttle guests in. Merchant traders and even the odd high-ranking tackety captain find excuses to dock at Gervaise's Rest. The ringmaster is run off his feet. The rejuvenated circus is heaving with visitors. Looming over it all is the vast obelisk. Its shadow falls over the crowds. Its sigils are burning brighter than you remember. Okay, well, we will approach the obelisk as we are not given an option not to. Wait, what? The circus has vanished. The islands on which it stood are empty. Empty aside from a vast tree of fungus stretching up into the heavens. Its hyphae stretch from island to island, weaving them together. A verdant. Looming above it is a luminous crustacean the size of a palace. A messenger. Its carapace is emblazoned with the sign of two overlapping suns. Its pincers flex slowly, thoughtfully. Sigils burn in the air between the two, exchanged like volleys in a tennis match. Gradually, the flurry of correspondence diminishes. A compact has been reached. The messenger drives the obelisk into the ground, a marker of their concord. The obelisk is marked with the words of the emissaries, of meeting, of peace. One, close to the point, ignites in searing light, a commingling of radiances. The obelisk remembers the promise. Something has to. Okay, so that was just a vision. It is not the case that the circus is actually gone. Well, we've gained a searing enigma. We really learned something here. So, I can't remember. Did we decide that our character had studied the correspondence, or was that something we were thinking about doing and then didn't take? I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to collate data, as they say. Although, that's not how that word is pronounced. Listen, I don't need to know how to pronounce words, clearly. Alright, let's write our report. As for the circus itself, it thrums with activity. We really have, we've done something here. Whether it was a good thing or not, hard to say. But we showed up, we collect our free tickets. It is probably the case that we should spend some of those. I don't know that we're going to get all of our terror cleared by returning to New Winchester. Let's attend another performance. I'm assuming... Yeah, nothing new in particular is happening here. I mean, we do get a vision of the heavens every time we do this, and these... it does not reduce our terror. Is it visiting the amusements? Yeah, visiting the amusements reduces our terror. By quite a bit, in fact. May as well do it again. We certainly have the tickets. Alright, and then I guess we'll take a quick peek behind the tents just in case anything new has occurred. It looks like probably not. Yeah, okay. Nothing new. I think we probably have just completed the plot here. So 55 is the bargain price. They probably actually sell for 75. I mean, we may as well just grab... we're headed to London, or we're headed to New Winchester right now, right? May as well just fill all the way up. I don't think we actually need another crate of supplies. I think we are totally fine. So we're going to make a lot of money when we get back to New Winchester. Cashing in our plot here. Man, I hate Tackities. Hold on. I know we needed munitions and everything, but I'm kind of curious if these people will give us the option to trade munitions for bronzewood. The thing we've been able to do at some homesteads. Unfortunately, this one is not as friendly. You set down in a quiet homestead. The buildings are well kept, the fences recently painted, plants thoroughly beaten back, but no one comes out to greet you. Perhaps the inhabitants are at dinner, or keep odd hours. The door and windows are boarded up from the outside. Judging from the lack of dust on the porch, the inhabitants departed only recently. Easy enough to get in. The nails are only loosely hammered in. Let's, we don't really need the supplies. Let's investigate. Well, if there's no one here, and no indication where the occupants could have gone, what happened? No furniture is upturned. There are no bloodstains. But it doesn't seem the occupants had much time to plan their departure. There are bundles of unwashed laundry. There's a pile of children's toys in one room. A Bible lies open in the kitchen by the knife rack. Psalm 109 has been excised. That's very curious. Okay, apologies if this is not the most entertaining thing in the universe that I could be doing right now. I'm going to go look up what Psalm 109 is real quick. A psalm noted for containing some of the most severe curses in the Bible, such as, "Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any to favor his fatherless children. And let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following let their name be blotted out." It is traditionally called the Judas Psalm. Huh. Well, now that's very curious. Let's not spend too much time thinking about what could have caused such an occurrence, and instead just get the hell out of here. The Tackities just slamming into each other because none of them can steer at all. I wonder how they came to the decision to make many of the NPC vessels behave the way they do. Were they like, well, maybe to make this guy feel real, they should be headed to places. And then they started putting in the actual piloting algorithms, and they found they were just sort of listing around arbitrarily, and they're like, you know what? That's good enough. That'll be interesting to have to play around. The Rat Brigade scour the train for unspent fuel and find nothing of use. I don't think it's a big deal. We're right at New Winchester. I'm kind of curious about whether these guys might occasionally, like, actually damage each other enough to just leave us some loot in the sky. Grim news. Your last battle resulted in a number of injuries among the crew. Your medical bay is crowded and the prognoses aren't good. Well, I have a steady hand and some education. Perhaps it will be enough. It turns out it was. It's touch and go, but all your patients will make satisfactory recoveries. 1,000 deaths wait in the sky, but today you thwarted them all. Yeah, I know one of the things that was mentioned in the patch notes is that there are going to be more varied consequences for engaging in combat. That it's no longer just you lose hull when you get hit, but sometimes, like, individual systems on the train can take damage and things like that. I wonder if that was, if that thing we just saw was triggered by whatever it was that made the text appear about the shot getting past our plating. Alright, well, I am definitely into delivering port reports. Another 400 sovereigns has us over 5k, I believe. And then we have 15 gratitude again, so give me a bunch of artifacts. I certainly know a place where we can get some value out of these. It really doesn't seem very hard to come by them. We'll leave ourselves with 5 gratitude, just in case. In case what? I don't know, man. In case I don't want to click this menu option anymore right now, honestly. So we have just a huge amount of cargo to turn in here. Alright, not that. Yes, the market. Alright, we hold on to the munitions. We probably bank them, I guess. I can sell stuff directly from the bank. Did I sell all that tea? Hold on. Hold on. We did just sell all the tea, didn't we? Well, shoot. And now we need some again. Ah, well. Alright, I think we can afford to sell the honey, or the nectar we have on us, and all 15 of these barrels of ours. That's not bad. Okay, and we will just go ahead and bank the munitions. It's going to be a long time before we have enough to actually cash in those prospects. So we are certainly going to need to pick up some supplies and some fuel. And we're actually almost at the cost of that next engine anyway. Alright, is there anything else we want to do while we're here? Anything else of terrible import? We're still not ready to follow our ambition. We have way more crew than we need. We know how the Winchester War is going very, very well, depending on who you are. So I feel like we don't have that much that needs doing in the Reach anymore, right? It might be time to go hunt. I'm momentarily here debating whether we want to trade out trains for the one that has the more natural plating. More natural hull, rather. Nah, we can fight, what do you call them, in this? Dreadnoughts? I think that's where we're at. Take a quick look through our journal. Yeah, none of this stuff is in the Reach. We do need to go back to Titania, I guess. We also need to find a fungal, one of those big fungal rocks, which probably would be best done up by Hybris. But that really is all we have left to do in the Reach here. Oh, you know what? Some time has passed. Let's go ahead and talk to him now. Let's look in on him. He was so out of sorts when we last spoke. The Clay Conductor is carrying out his duties with drive, if not success. The crew are complaining of excessive grumpiness. You find him in his cabin. The Conductor offers a brief apology, and nothing further. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm just not in the mood for conversation. He closes the door after you. You know what? I'm realizing the voice I'm doing for the Clay Conductor is basically just Eeyore. It was not really my intent when I picked it. Okay, well, we'll maybe we should spend a little bit of time with him. I'll give him a little bit more time. Let's let him recover on his own. So I guess we could swing down by Titania right now and get that pedal cutting. I don't know that we're going to want to be down here again anytime soon. Well, you know what we could do? Hold on. Let's just fill the hold with supplies and fuel, and let's go do some expeditions in the Trader's Wood. Because there is certainly a mystery occurring there, and we are in actually a really good position to start figuring on it. Okay, we'll do that, then we'll swing through Titania on the way back when the hold is emptier and could be filled with honey. Yeah, I feel confident about this. We can get some stuff done. So we know there are 3 great big... What was that thing called? This here? Yeah, I can't click on it. The Regent's Grave, right, the Regent's Grave. There's 3 great big gaps in it that it looks like we're supposed to put something in. One assumes, or maybe not one. Let's be specific. I assume that we will get those 3 things from doing expeditions at the Summerset Camp, and we actually have enough supplies and stuff on us to try 3 expeditions. And our stats are Probably, maybe up to the task? At least potentially up to the task. We'll dash through Port Avon real quick and get that port report. And we could probably afford to go down to, like, 3 fuel and 3 supplies. And they sell supplies there. New bargains available. And they sell fuel and supplies at Titania. So, yeah. We can afford to run pretty short. Port Avon, we'd actually be better off going south around this. The one thing I appreciate about Albion as we last saw it, is that I don't feel like I need to look at the map so much because it's not so windy. I may have looked at the map just as much, but I didn't feel like I needed to. That's the element of my personal experience that I'm upset by here. So we can probably get some cheap fuel at Port Avon. Not that we really need it. I do still wish there was a button you could press to just crack a crate open early. Because, like, this would be a good opportunity to do that, right? Hold on. Sell supplies here. I am just going to kill time for a moment until we crack the new crate of supplies. A little wasteful, but we're going to buy 2 barrels of cheap fuel, and then we can replenish supplies very easily at the Summerset Camp. Okay, onwards. Let us write our report. And I think nothing else worth doing here. So what's the best way to do this? Okay, there is a spot we can slide south past the village green. Kinda feel like the train is drifting more than usual. You know what I didn't even consider is whether the weight of the cargo might have an effect on our physics, because it would, right, if this were a real situation. I just didn't even think about the fact that they might have programmed that in. And again, part of this is like me not being 100% clear on what it is exactly that we are sailing through. If it is effectively a vacuum, space, then you would expect the weight to matter quite a bit. We have to wear like diving suits effectively to go out, right? And it's described as being very cold out there, but I don't know. We don't change altitude, but that doesn't mean we can't change altitude. It's just that the game is rendered in 2 dimensions. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what it is exactly that we are sailing through. Doesn't much matter, but I have a lot of time for idle musings out here in the Reach. Spend a lot of time just sort of holding W. Why would you name a wood after a traitor? A sewer, maybe. Yeah, she makes a good point. Well, you know what? The wood's not named after a trader, though. It's named after the concept of traders. And I mean, like, the idea of tradership is as complicated as the idea of patriotism, right? In a situation like we have here, where the Tacadies are, I mean, pretty much without the ability to equivocate, traders. But they probably don't, you know, they don't look upon the thing they did as being unfair or unreasonable. Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. A little respite for labor. We certainly don't need to offer stable employment. Not yet, anyway. We'll see how these expeditions go. How do we do this? Expeditions. Yep, there's a button for expeditions. Okay, let's prepare for a large expedition. We may end up... If we lost everybody, we'd end up with only 4 crew left, and then we could just hire anybody at all and still be able to operate the train safely. So I feel very secure going for this right now. Sizable contingent of your crew volunteers to follow you into the wood. Packs are hoisted onto shoulders, rations divided and sensibly stored in little tubs. Alright, let's do it. So, let us prepare for an expedition to the Giggling Place, which I thought was an awfully strange name the first time we saw it, and it turns out I still do. The sigils on the scythe suggest it was connected in some way. You're sure the name, however, is an error of translation. Yes, that does make sense. Once again, the scholars wave cheerily as you prepare your crew for another venture under the whispering boughs of the Trader's Wood. Thunder shakes the trees. Storm's nearing, a signaler says, drawing up her hood. Should we be out in this, Captain? Well, it turns out we have the iron to be out in a storm. Press onward. Brandy is passed about in little flasks until you have to remind people not to get rotten drunk in the middle of a thunderstorm. The going is quieter after that, but swifter. Eventually the storm passes. And actually our terror fell. You emerge into a field of purple flowers, bright as new bruises. Oh, the whispering petals, I remember this. Well, who doesn't love to listen to voices from time to time? And look at that, a new sky story. Who would have thought? Your crew join you in the long grass. Yes, this is text that we've seen before. And then the beasts again, huh? This expedition is very similar to the last one. Yep, so we bring down the crew, we bring down the beasts, we take a specimen. The ground gives way to a bog, grey and fetid as a newly slain corpse. It burps lazily. The marsh reeds susurrate, growing in volume as you approach. There is English amidst the polyphony. Names, yours, and those of your crew. That's very creepy. There must be a better, less noisome way. Yeah, maybe we can just find a way around? I'm a little nervous about the bog that knows our names and feels the need to call to us. The very sort of siren song thing going on there. The wood extends for miles, but so too does the bog, as though it were once a river or a moat. It is hours before you find a passable clearing. A glade of emerald hue nestled between a copse of silver trees that shiver and sigh like consumptives. The trees whisper as you pass. They lie in a dozen languages, only half known to you and your crew. The discordance shivers beneath the boughs. Correspondence ignites wood that shrieks, as though not meant to speak it. Wood burns and breaks. Passing is treacherous and slow. Eventually, however, you emerge. I was about to say, when it was like only half of the languages are known to you and your crew, I was about to say, I wonder if the trees will stumble upon the language of the thing that happened at Whorlbury, and it seems that they did. It is not the date that it was, but far and farther into the woods we must go. Treeline parts ahead. A shaded dell below a steep and cruel hill. Bright laughter emanates from within the shaded dell before you. Okay, perhaps not a translation error. It is, literally, a place that giggles. Beware. Within the dell, the laughter becomes cacophonous. Your crew must cover their ears as you press forward through the dripping undergrowth. White ferns whisper as they brush against your heads and your hands. Ahead you can hear the lowing of beasts. The air is as cold as the grave. Another one of those words that I've definitely read in this sense a number of times and never heard anyone else say. You inch forward as the laughter crescendos, washing over you. A copse of trees, gray as a rainstorm, lies ahead. It blocks the rest of the dell from sight, but it is the only way forward. Here's the thing. They're wording this choice to go alone or to send the crew ahead as a thing about risk. I could spare my crew the risk of whatever laughs at us from behind the trees, or I could choose not to risk myself because I won't allow their mockery to let me take that risk. But I don't think that our character would think of this as a thing of risk. I don't think our character would even think to send somebody else. I want to know what is happening here, so I go so that I can know firsthand. Your crew are loyal and protest, but their relief is palpable. You stride through the trees, the distant starlight dappling their I'm gonna start again. You stride through the trees, the distant starlight dappling their gray leaves silver. You are greeted with laughter, as bright and insistent as a blade at the throat. It emerges from the dell, which descends to a gap in the trees. We are entering the cleft. A canopy of dripping leaves conceals what lies ahead. Laughter, high and mirthless, can be heard very close by. You must go forward. Voices echo from within the cleft in the earth. At the very bottom of the dell is a brook. The water babbles and chuckles, murmurs and giggles. A bronze seal gleams just under the surface. As you reach to take it, 3 faces are reflected in the water next to yours. You are being watched by a 3-headed fox, the size and color of a polar bear. It speaks, but with your voice, your vocal patterns stolen in service of its speech. Mourn not the wild trees nor the slain servant. Open the silent barrows. The fox flees into the wood. Your throat aches. Wow, that's very creepy. Also, I feel like we're losing stats a lot lately. That was a thing that just didn't start happening until recently, but is this the 3rd time in maybe 2 episodes that I've permanently lost stat points? Alright, well, we got another vision of the heavens, and we certainly learned something. Did I take the bronze seal? It says a prize claimed. I must have. This is a very creepy thing. Also, it's not 100% clear. Was the fox... I guess the fox flees into the wood. I was about to ask, is the fox actually like physically up in the place, or am I only seeing it in the reflection of the water? I guess I could have seen it flee into the wood in the reflection, too. I don't know which of those would be more unsettling. Alright, well, we definitely need to talk to somebody about the screwed up thing that we just saw. I mean, we've been talking to the classicist. She has been helpful to us so far, helpful-ish. Let's ask her about the Barrows of Silence. The wood spoke in stolen voices of it. Her eyes widen as you relate what happened. She shakes her head. Talking animals? This makes no sense. She clenches her hand in frustration. In Genesis, perhaps, but nowhere in Sumerian mythology. She shakes her head again. The evidence leads us away from the theory, so be it. Yes, I've heard of the Barrows, or something that could be that. We found a stone tablet written in the correspondence. It mentioned quiet graves, at a place in the forest where deeds were done. She marks your map. Okay, we're taking another little trip then. I feel like we're making the right move here with her. Her being like, you know what? If it doesn't fit the theory, then the theory is wrong. I'm not certain that all 3 of the scholars would have responded in that way. Well, another expedition. The scholars have provided the location. The wood whispered its name to you. Whoever lies in the regent's grave may have been connected with this place. This is an expedition of moderate difficulty. That last one was also moderate difficulty, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this as well. And remember, our supplies look low, but we can purchase supplies here. Your crew are reluctant, but obey your command. They haul on their packs and make ready for another incursion. The scholars watch you leave, their expressions solemn. It is not long before you are surrounded by trees, the canopy plunging you into gloom. Oh, the flowers again. You know, listening to the flowers has been very good for us so far. Also, hooray, more sky stories. And then the beasts again. These beasts are more dangerous. Well, we certainly can't just hide from them. That's not going to work. Let's fight, even though it looks like fighting is maybe going to have some consequences this time. Beasts leap from the shadows. Your guns barely slow them. In the dark, you can only see snatches of the creatures ripping into your crew. It's probably for the best. Claws like meat hooks, splintered teeth like rocks off a shore. Their howls of discordance are equaled by the screams of your crew. You are forced into a retreat, your fallen acting as a meaty distraction from your flight. Another crew member lost. Not ideal. Alright, then we found the bog again. Well, let's try to go around. Oh wow, it was not too hard to find them. So is it always going to be like 3 things drawn from the big master list of encounters you can have in the wood, I wonder? A circle of earthen mounds surround a hollow of blasted ground. The barrows smell of leaf mold and decay. Some are so old they've sunken and are barely distinguishable from the rest of the grass-covered ground. Your crew shiver as you walk past the mounds into the blasted circle at their center. A wind whips past you, blowing up dust. A bird overhead calls out. Its cry is cut short. A deep depression sits at the center of the circle, surrounded by smoldering sigils of the correspondence, which at this point is starting to look pretty familiar to me, probably. So we only got back 7 of our 10 crew. The sigils, scored into the barrow's earth, smolder. The incandescent language is searing. A command burns your marrow. Here, you will be silent. I mean, you know it's me. You know it's me going in here. You tear a strip of cloth from your sleeve and force it into your mouth till your jaw aches. Should I also gag the crew? They won't like that. I bet we'll gain terror, but they're loyal. They'll do as they're told. We should gag the crew. Faces with mouths stuffed with cloth look to you for instruction. Just everybody be quiet. Whatever secrets are buried here lie within the barrows themselves. Wind gusts across the graves, setting stones rolling from the barrows. Your crew huddle close as you advance into the center of the circle. I don't actually need them to come with me, right? Like, I would have been comfortable doing this by myself. Below your feet, correspondence sigils flare like dying fireflies. Even now, the letters of heaven sear the air. The entrances to the barrows have been filled with piles of rock. They are stoppered with slate and shale. Beneath your feet, the correspondence is incandescent. We have raised you up, and so shall we cast you down. I am not removing my gag currently. Man. Do we approach the hole at the center, or do we try to open one of the barrows? I mean, the casting you down could be literal, right? If we approach the hole at the center, we could end up way down in there. But I guess the entrance to the barrows leads underground as well, right? Like, when you remove the rocks, you will move down into the earth. If we open the barrows, we're definitely going to see some shit that's going to cause some terror. But our terror is low right now. We could probably afford it. And maybe we'll get some more information about who exactly is interred in these places that the scholars might find useful. You pull away the loose stones locking the nearest barrow. Your crew move away the other rocks, opening the graves. Carefully and quietly, everyone. A cacophony of sound rolls out. Sigils smolder in the air. Not to be forgotten. Not to serve. Not to be silent. To be permitted. Ash and smoke blow across the now bellowing graves. One of the barrows is screaming in Latin. An erudite stoker conjugates in haste. "Captain," he shouts in your ear. "Those are your orders from only yesterday. They've been listening. Hey, didn't I gag you?" Peering inside the nearest barrow, you find it clogged entirely with stone, as though smothered. No wonder the voices sound so ragged. buried beneath a mountain's worth of rock. Okay, so this is a very strange... the orders we gave yesterday, which would be before we took the path around the bog, repeated to us in Latin. There's a very strange thing going on here with speech and sound in this entire wood. And also, that signaler is getting his ass kicked when we get back to the train, because he took off his gag. I did not tell him to take off the gag. Alright, let's approach the hole at the center of the barrow circle. So far, I have been silent, so I'm confident that I will be okay, even if the area is no longer silent. Confident is strong. I think I might be okay. Our power shared, our gift given, our law defied. The hole is partially clogged with ash, but you can see a gleam at the bottom. Something gold glistens down there. The sigils around the lip of the hole burn comprehension into you. The privilege of stewardship abused. Fury and pain and betrayal racks your ligaments. Your hands shake as you pluck the golden seal from its dim tomb. I feel like we're messing with a lot of stuff that I don't really understand. I'm getting very nervous about the consequences of all this. I think we should maybe leave. We have the last seal. The earth is screaming our name and our words. Maybe we should just be somewhere else, yeah? You're lucky to have made it this far. Leave while you still can, the game mechanics tell us. A place less silent. As you walk away and out of the circle, the sigils fade. You feel your throat constrict as though embraced by a python. You go to give an order, but the words fail. Your language is ragged, like a moth-eaten rug. Eventually, you find the language to get your crew moving, but in the back of your mind you feel absences. Your words have been taken. The correspondence carries a price, so too defying the commandments of a star. But you have the last of the seals. Scholars will know what to do next, we hope. So a lot of permanent stat loss here. We have 3 seals to open the Regent's Grave, and we know where the Regent's Grave is and how to get there. I'm very nervous about all this. Scholars are waiting eagerly for your return, though they affect otherwise. The vituperative classicist arrives first. Well? The others behind her, their expressions repetitions of her question. You explain all you can. A servant thrown down, the theologian concludes. A dreadful overreach. It is not my king in the barrow, then, the paleographer says mournfully. Only a retainer. We don't know that, the classicist replies, though it's a reasonable supposition. She turns to you. Take me with you. Let's open this wretched grave. The theologian immediately volunteers himself as an alternate. Or we could take the dismal paleographer. We can only take one scholar with us. We'll need an interpreter, and the scholars will not work together. Yeah, I know. That has been made clear. I think we take the classicist. She has helped us the most, and she does seem the least bound to her theory. I think she wants to know almost as badly as we do, and that's a trait that our character would very much respect. She nods. I've packed already. I'll meet you by your engine. She walks away, ignoring the gazes of her colleagues. The paleographer sighs and returns to his tent. The theologian approaches you. Please, be careful. I wouldn't want anything to happen to her. All right, well, we do know where the Regent's grave is. I suppose that's where we're headed. We came out of that with remarkably little terror. The remaining scholars packed up back to Summerset in London once you made your decision. They hope to salvage their careers, or at least be somewhere warm and inside. A wind shivers the grass. The shadows lengthen over the camp. Okay. We still need to go to the Parting Glade to write our report. I think we're going to leave a lot of the things that we've seen here out of it. You know, the Tackities don't need to know about all this. We don't really need to buy supplies, although we found the actual place where the seals need to be put without having to do any expeditioning. I think we probably don't need any more supplies than what we have on us. I'm going to buy one more crate just to feel safe. And then the question is, like, do we want to pick up these souls now on the cheap when we know we're going to use some souls to complete this prospect for Port Prosper. But we could grab them from Magdalen's. This is a better price, though. It's going to cost us some fuel. But we don't know how much money worth of fuel is actually going to be lost to this. Yeah, let's just buy them now at the good price. I think we can afford to. Alright, well, we know where we're going. It's probably better, actually, to head through the Palewood. Take the shorter route. All that exploring we did earlier is actually coming in handy. I'm hoping that once this is... what is this now? There's a tentative knock at your cabin door. Opening it, you find one of your more gregarious junior signalers. I've been going through the crew records, she tells you. I found something interesting. It's the anniversary of the conductor's stepping from the stone. The crew want to mark the occasion with a little shindig. Is she suppressing a grin? The Clay Conductor will hate the party, but it would be good for him and his relationship with the crew, and I'll be on hand to supervise. He is gonna not... This is not his sort of thing. But him integrating into the crew a little bit more will probably be a net positive for him, right? Let's hold the party. The signaler's face falls. You'll attend? I wasn't I mean, I'll get started right away. That's weird. Together, you prepare the galley for a celebration. You convince your cook to fetch the better brandy, and to make something a little special. When the hour arrives, you lure the Clay Conductor in. To everyone's surprise, he stays. He makes painful small talk with your stokers, and drinks far too much of the punch. Your crew regard him like a talking bear, but everyone is polite. While your crew are engaged in a game of poker that will definitely require disciplinary action later, the conductor tracks you down. He babbles earnestly about Aklis in Eleutheria, and the Claymen who work for the Murgatroyd Company. He would very much like to visit. Huh. Okay, well, that's a better outcome than I was expecting. So what I was about to say when that happened is, I hope that once we conclude this Regent's Grave thing, we'll maybe get back some of our words, and thus some of our stat points. But I guess I'm not expecting it. I think the losses we've suffered may be eternal, which would be very much in keeping with the themes. Alright, so we're just following the wall here. Yep, follow the wall until it leads into Gideon's Bronze. And we may encounter enemies. I think I remember there being a scribe spinster in there last time, maybe more than one. But we made it out then, and if anything, we're better at fighting now. Ooh, bronzewood. Can we harvest this? Yes, we can. The mining drill lets us get bronzewood. That's very, very good. That's extremely valuable. Yeah, we're not even going to be poor after we buy the new locomotive. So I wonder if we are ever going to find a locomotive that's better than the Moloch class liner that's available here in New Winchester, or if that was shown to us sort of to be like, here's your future, here's what you can aspire to, and if it will turn out that's just the best one. Also, I really remembered there being more bees around here. Surprised at the fact that we haven't seen any chorister bees. Not that I'd be, like, overjoyed to see them, but, you know, we're pretty good at killing them now. That's just a bad shot. Speaking of being pretty good at killing, we've discovered an uncanny specimen. You pry the lid off. Dear God, what the blazes? Your navigator pokes the thing inside with a big stick until assured that it's dead. Okay. Well, maybe somebody will be able to make some use of that somewhere. That's bad. Okay. Yeah, missing that one mangonel shot turned that from a very easy win into something a little bit worse. Yeah, sure, let's recover its weaponry. If we get another mangonel, they sell pretty well at the very least. Yep, we have indeed. Okay. As I remember, we got like 100 sovereigns for the one we sold earlier. I think we just strip this thing for hull. In case we do run into something hostile inside. I am definitely nervous. I'm not too worried about, like, losing the character. I don't know that there are plot events that will have your character just die. But I am worried about our character becoming permanently injured in some very serious way. You know, as reflected by the loss of stat points. Please cool down, please cool down. Ah. Alright, one more good hit. Maybe it was a lot of explorers that we found in here last time. Maybe that's all I needed to be worried about. Let's just loot his hold. Another distressingly odored barrel. Wow, 3 fuel. We really have a lot of fuel right now. Alright, let's stay kind of close to the edge of the area here. Ah. That's a terrible shot. Yeah, maybe this is all it was. And not be in his direct line, so that if he fires the shotgun at us, okay, you know what? If you're going to be difficult, I'll just leave. Okay, we're near the heart of the wood, silent and solemn. Here, at the heart of the forest, a great barrow built from ancient stone stands. Gates of star-forged bronze block the entrance. We could just shatter the seals and lock the gates forever, and if it were me, this is something I would feel very tempted to do. However, there's no way on Earth our character does this, right? Well, I guess we're not on Earth, but there's no way here either. We have the 3 seals and a translator. We will discover what was entombed here. Before fitting the seals into the gate, the scholar examines the correspondence markings on them. Something about to be used for visitation, and a reminder to not visit unless in direst need, your scholar translates, plainly baffled. Each seal fits a particular depression in the gate. In goes silver, then bronze, then gold. As you place the final seal into the metal, the gate swings inward of its own accord. A long stair, vastly wide, descends downward into the gloom. Below, a wind howls with all the ferocity of a starving wolf. Burn away the wax that seals the traitor's mouth. Boy, that's a... Sometimes the florid prose is more concerning than others. At the foot of the stair is a burial chamber, fathoms high. Hanging from the roof is a skeleton. The bones are the size of locomotives, the skull palatial. Red correspondence sigils are branded on the bones. The trisected skull's mouth is sealed shut with chorister wax. The sigils on its jawbone mean to have gone further than one should, the scholar whispers. I do want to go away, far away, but I just can't, you know? It wouldn't be right. Let us unstopper the skull's mouth and hear the horrifying things that it doubtless has to say. Standing well back, you order your crew to light a fire below the skull's mouth. Soon the wax is congealing and dripping in long, slow splashes onto the tomb floor. The heat in the chamber rises. Dashes of wax begin to fall in heavy drops from the mouth of the skull. The wind rises to a frenzy. The last of the wax melts. The skull's jaw hangs open, and correspondence sigils begin to appear on the walls of the tomb. The cavern lights in fierce incandescence as the tamer spits furious correspondence. Your scholar struggles to keep up as they translate the sigils on the spot. The scholar translates. The servant was given a task. They mean to complete it, but they have no body. They mean to chain the wood. No, tame it. They overstepped when they gave voice to the voiceless. They want to undo their error. The scholar falls silent. Sorry, what? Their eyes widen. They want one of us to help them. For a year and a day. They overstepped when they gave voice to the voiceless must refer to the bees, right? The devil keeps talking about... I believe our repentant devil has said a couple of things while we were near Titania about the sin of having given the bees voice. Well, we could explain that the judgment of the Reach has perished, and that the Trader's Wood no longer has a master. I'm not sure I think that's true. We could ask what the task would entail, simply accept it blindly, and why not leave things as they are? The Tamer has its freedom, though not its life. It could join the winds that howl in the heavens, and leave the woods full of voices, wild and at liberty. Allow the Scholar to fulfill the task. Give the Tamer our body. I have a question. What does the deceased servant of a deceased star actually want here? Correspondence flashes in the dark like bonfires on Guy Fawkes night. The Scholar frowns. The vanquishing of all errors. The making right of the wood. Something about work. Bloody, burning, taming work. The silencing of the voices and the stealing of tongues. The Scholar shrugs. They seem to think it's self-explanatory. Well, I don't agree. I am somewhat torn. The Scholar wants to be the one to fulfill the task. Okay, I think that our character's motivation here, what makes sense to me, from my understanding of who we are playing, is that we want to see what would be done. I don't necessarily want to do it myself, because that could be dangerous. If I gave them my body, I might not get it back. And I want to be around to see what happens. So I think I allow the Scholar to fulfill the task. The vituperative classicist strides forward without a second glance. Well, come on then, I haven't got all... The rest is lost, as the wind pounces on her. It howls as it forces its way into the empty places in her skull. She turns back to you, eyes unseeing, and runs from the tomb, out into the wild of the wood. The grave is silent. Return to the Parting Glade in Trader's Wood in a year and a day to complete this story. How long have we played for, I wonder? Let us leave the grave. Is there a date anywhere? Sometimes, okay, so we see July 31st, 1906. I feel like it was 1905 when we started. I wonder how long a year and a day is going to turn out to be in, like, actual real-world travel time. I'm very, very curious. Very, very curious. Hi! Oh, there's a spinster. Ah! I tried to dodge, but still overheated. Okay. I was hoping to be able to gain some hull here. Another barrel. Oh good, more fuel. I do not necessarily feel the need to fight that scribe spinster. I'm happy to just leave. We have set something in motion today. Hard to know what exactly. There's some kind of value over here. The Scribe Spinster's like shouting at us, "Hey, why don't you come over here? I have something really nice. You're really gonna want it. Just let me get real close to you." No. No. Okay. A better understanding of how enemy awareness works is a valuable thing. So we're going to head to Titania and then back to New Winchester, and then I think we are done in the Reach again for a little while. I'm not in a big hurry to complete the Phlegmatic Researchers list, in part because I don't know for sure where we would even get, where we might encounter another one of those big rocks of fungus. We're certainly not guaranteed to see one up by Hybris. Yeah, I don't know. Did we check this train out already? I think I did, right? Yeah. They sell fuel and supplies at Titania, so we can afford to, I think, come down here and blow up the Marauders like we just saw. Ow. Didn't turn quite as sharply as I was hoping. Yay! That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. They do be a little bit careful here, because a lot of the time I end the fight by doing a thing that would not be super safe if it didn't end the fight. To make sure I don't put myself in position to just get blown up by the one Marauder. Oh, I almost dodged. Okay, hey, that went pretty well, actually. So, mid-combat, let's just go ahead and loot this. I am very disappointed not to have the opportunity to gain hull. Come on, fire. You want to fire? There we go. There's that slowdown in turning speed that I was looking for. Okay, almost back to full. So if there are indeed bees all around Titania, we can afford to fight them if we want to. And there's certainly a lot of money to be had in doing it. Oh good, a touch of the skies. Someone has been making subtle amendments to your navigator's calculations, presumably in an attempt to alter your course. The culprit is discovered to be a reticent engineer. You demand an explanation. She once encountered the storm that speaks, and it spoke to her in voices she had thought she'd never hear again. She has been trying to find it again ever since. Okay, you... Boy, what do we do with her? I'm a little concerned that confining her to her quarters is going to make things worse, not better. Especially in terms of her own survival. I don't know that we can afford to issue an additional ration of brandy to the crew, or I would. I'm going to send her back to work. She's got to get her head clear. That's not good. You harry them back to work with a carefully stewed mixture of encouragement and chastisement, but their obsessions only continue to consume them. They make mistakes, some of which are dangerous, and their persistent oddness unsettles the crew. Well, it was worth a shot. I'm not too worried about the lost hull there, but I am worried about our terror, our mounting terror. And unfortunately, there's nothing we're going to be able to do about our terror at Titania. Hopefully we've been away from New Winchester for long enough for it to relax us when we return. But you know, actually, we could just stop by Port Avon and do some reading, right? Okay, I think I hit him. Yeah, let's get ourselves as much nectar as we can get. Okay, well, 28 sovereigns is, I suppose, worth more than the time we spent fighting the bees, but still very disappointing. Alright, let's get that petal cutting and our port report and get out of here, I suppose. Or we could attend like a little art exhibition or something, maybe calm our terror. Yeah, that was actually a pretty reasonable reduction there. Okay, so here we can donate stuff, which we're not going to do. And in Oberon's Landing, we didn't actually see an option. Hold on a moment. Where was the... It was for the experiment, right? A cutting of the titanian petal. I was kind of thinking that that would be an option that we would have available here. I guess not, though. Okay, we certainly need supplies. And then I guess we may as well pick up these hours. Or you know what? We're going to be able to get some more honey. Let's not fill the hold. Yeah, a cutting of the titanian petal. I'm assuming that it wouldn't be locked behind this. And this is the only other place where we have the ability to interact here. Yeah, that's very strange. Maybe it's, because the stomach is from a thing you have to encounter in the sky. And this is going to be something we have to encounter in the sky. Maybe this is something we have to do outside of the port? I guess? I don't know, let's fly around the area a little bit and see if an opportunity presents itself. Also, we can blow up some bees. Okay, if you can actually hit them, they're not that tough at all. I'm having a hell of a time recovering nectar. And I feel really bad about condemning a crew member to die of bee sting. We'll, like, fly around the edges of the petals, maybe? See if an interaction prompt pops up. Yeah, something tells me this is not going to work. Well, shoot, how do we get this cutting, then? Maybe we have to, like, encounter someone who already has one in their hold and then take it from them, right? Like, you get it through combat. But that seems very odd. Why wouldn't we be able to just take a cutting of the petal right here? Oh well, I mean, like I said, I'm not super into getting this quest done in a real hurry. Do we want to head to Leadbeater and Stainrods and get that port report? Probably not. I think let's go past Port Avon. Ooh, more bronzewood. We'll go through Port Avon, we'll reduce our terror a little bit. And then we will head back to New Winchester, where we will end the episode. And then after that, next episode, I think we're headed back to Albion, which should be an interesting trip. And at some point, we have to actually take one of these other beacons, right? So we know that there are other beacons up here. This... the presence of the other beacons is the thing that made me believe that there were 3 other maps. So we know this leads to the Blue Kingdom, right? It's not too far from New Winchester. Hadn't we seen another beacon somewhere? I thought I remembered there was one, like, way up in the north. Maybe not? My memory is very, very spotty at the best of times, so who knows? Maybe I'm remembering something that we saw elsewhere. I'm very disappointed with how few bees there were. I think we were maybe a little bit too thorough in our earlier bee hunting. Okay, well that was easy. Should we use our cannery to extract its heart? Probably that's going to be more valuable than either of these options, right? Ah. It's a messy process. Your cannery flenses away the outer shells until you reach its pale core. Alas, the heart is already broken and crumbled. A curio, nothing more. Well, at least we have some things we can do with uncanny specimens. I gotta tell you, I am so glad that we found this mangonel as early as we did. It has been very, very kind to us. Alright, so we'll just engage in a little bit of light reading here. I think we can probably go after the Tales of Terror rather than the Sky Stories. We still are gaining Sky Stories faster than we are spending them. Should we have a chat with Mr. Menagerie? I can't remember exactly what he wanted for the Ratronaut. The thing is, if we look, he's going to move somewhere else that might be less convenient. And I don't think we can use the Ratronaut anyway. I think I remember that it was locked behind a pretty high mirrors value. Yeah, we'll not worry about it just yet. So we're missing 12 hull. Yeah, cheap repairs is reasonable. We certainly don't need the fuel. 25 sovereigns for 12 hull. It's pretty good. Alright, let us go to... What is my welcome currently? I guess let's share some gossip right now. Okay, we maybe want to share a little bit more gossip. And we'll just go and do some nice reading. Still not enough iron to survive the cider. Alright, 28. How much terror are we actually losing from each of these? 24. Okay. We don't need to go all the way down to 0. That's probably good enough, because remember when we go to London, or when we go to New Winchester, we'll probably get some terror reduction. Don't want to spend all of our welcome, not just yet. That was a pretty successful expedition, in the sense that we certainly learned some stuff and saw some new things happen. Less successful in that the actual mechanical outcome of it was I lost a bunch of stat points, and we have to wait a long time for whatever else. To come back in like August of 1907. Oh hey, one of those fungal asteroids. Let us cut free this horrible thing that this guy wants. Who knows when we'll see one of these again. The fungus is tough. It's like cutting wood with a penknife, but it eventually gives way. Well, now I'm really bummed out that we couldn't get a cutting of the pedal, because we're actually done. If we had that. I wonder what exactly you have to do. I guess the idea is that the people who live there would not have been cool with me taking a cutting. That's why we couldn't do it in the port. Stupid good dodging. It takes so long to come around that if he doesn't charge into something, it's hard to even take advantage of that big charge. No. Okay, it was nice of him to drift into that. That was definitely a pity drift, but I'll take it. Okay, more munitions. Slowly, slowly building up. So we have some things to do in Port Prosper. I guess we have hunting to do, right? We still need nameplates. And I would like to get our moment of inspiration before we leave. Yeah, maybe we'll spend some amount of the next episode doing that. An outbreak of the heart sickness. A mysterious outbreak of nostalgia is spreading through the crew. Frequently, they stop work to stare away into misty remembrance. They gather during the evenings to meditate on times gone by, and debate the ways in which the past was superior to the present. The air is full of sighs. This is an extremely dangerous sickness. We could try to learn something of their times past. We could hold a compulsory party. Or we could succumb and write. Nostalgia is the fuel of melancholy, and melancholy is a fruitful muse. Yeah, I don't think we should, subject ourselves to this nonsense. Party. Mandatory party. Oh dear. They drink the brandy, they join in a few half-hearted verses of Ta-ra-ra, boom-de-ay, but soon the mood turns melancholy again. Before you can stop it, the crew are sharing stories of the loved ones they left behind, and the lives they led in those long-gone days before London climbed into the sky. Shoulda read more stories in Port Avon. It's a problem we can still solve. We'll get the terror reduction from visiting New Winchester, or we won't, whatever. And then we can start the next episode by going back to Port Avon and reading off whatever is left. This dock is like remarkably hard to maneuver into. Okay, another 3 fortune. We'll just let her keep it for the moment. I'm wondering if I spent way more time in the Reach than you are intended to. Because it does seem like we completely concluded the Winchester War, and now there's nothing left to happen here, and it's remarkably early on for the area to be completed. Okay, so our terror reduction was very significant. Alright, let's go and sell some things. We're going to keep the souls, we're going to sell these hours and this bronze wood. We're going to buy some supplies. We're going to bank the munitions. We're going to keep the souls because we're headed out toward Port Prosper. I think what we'll probably do next episode is go to Port Prosper, fight juggernauts as long as we can, or dreadnoughts rather, as long as we can, and then when we come back, so we'll turn in the souls right then, and then we'll come back and we'll maybe swing by Port Avon and remove all of our remaining terror, and then repair and head back out. I mean, we got to get 5 more nameplates. In theory, that should be very doable. We've shown ourselves able to kill dreadnoughts without even really taking much damage, if we can catch them by surprise. Oh, I should sell my my mangonel. Do I do that here, or that's done at Abraham's Engineering? Yeah, we're doing really well on cash, actually. Interesting. We can see here some stuff that we have not uncovered. The Wrath of Heaven. Okay, there's some engine parts out there that we're not yet aware of. Probably terrifying enemies in later areas can drop some pretty impressive weapons, I'm guessing. Well, I think that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope nobody's too disappointed that we're not going to find out exactly what's going on in the Trader's Wood for quite a while. But come back next time for some spectacular explosions, and we'll see you then.